Jason, another tough result for you guys. How do you sort of sum up that test match?
Good in patches. Obviously, I thought our bowlers were outstanding. Just tough that we didn't take our opportunities when they came. You know, it just shows, you know, if you give quality players, you know, 2, 3, 4 hands in one test match, you know, they'll make you pay for it. Yeah, and then when we batted in the first innings, we just definitely didn't set up the game well. The pitch was a really good pitch, but I was really pleased to see the fight in the second innings. The way John Campbell went about it, you know, I gave him that support because I thought, you know, he was just shaping to put something together quite big for us, and it just wasn't coming off. But it was good to see him, you know, knuckle down again, you know, go through the same processes and get a score. Yeah, we would have liked him to go on a little longer, but, you know, still pleased the way he went out and applied himself. Likewise, Joshua De Silva in the second innings. I was really pleased with both debutants actually. I thought Joshua was outstanding, and Shamar Holder was very outstanding for us as well too. So positives, good in patches as I said before, but still not good enough.
Did you expect the BLACKCAPS quicks to be that good and for that period of time throughout the test match?
Yeah, I felt they were good, but, you know, the way we batted in the second innings, they still gave us scoring opportunities. You know, obviously they were looking for wickets as well too, so, you know, they obviously presented us with a few scoring opportunities. But look, it wasn't an attack. I don't think the conditions were that tough in order to get runs. You know, the wicket was a really good wicket. You know, I still felt it was easy pace. 1 or 2 balls went through and bounced, but apart from that, it was still pretty good to bat on. But credit to them again. You know, they bowled well, but I still think that we could have, you know, definitely got on top of them a little bit better than we did.
You mentioned Campbell by name. Was he one example of a player maybe batting for a spot in the next test side when it gets selected?
Well, you never quite know, to be honest. Yeah, he hasn't gotten the runs that we're looking for, but, you know, more or less when you look around the region for test openers, our first-class openers, you know, there are not many to choose from. We had Shane Mosley, who got 100 in the 18 game down the road yesterday, so that was another positive for us. But more or less, we still need guys to be training out runs a little bit more often. But yeah, I just like to give people a fair opportunity, a fair run. You know, hopefully we can give our players a little bit more support, and not only by selecting them, but, you know, putting more programs in place for them to work with some coaches, do a little bit more one-on-one stuff, and just fine-tune the games a little bit better.
On the day before the test, you said more than anything you just wanted to tell the boys to go and enjoy themselves. Did you enjoy as a team, that experience, the team?
I definitely enjoy sitting down watching some of the guys go about their work, especially in the second innings batting. You know, I enjoy seeing their fast bowlers running and give a really good effort. You know, I enjoy seeing the guys, you know, throwing themselves around in the field. But I guess the enjoyment kind of gets swept under the carpet sometimes when you give players 3, 4, 5 opportunities, or you don't really bat well in the first innings, put up a really good total. We always say first innings is very important to set the game up, and we didn't do that in this test match.
Just if you look back to your work out in England in July, you guys were able to maintain.
Again, just good in patches. You know, we just not been consistent over a period of time. Again, we've done a lot of great things, but, you know, just haven't been able to string it together more often than not. New Zealand is a very good team in their backyard. You know, they do it against most, if not all, the oppositions that come over here to play. Not making an excuse, but, you know, they're very good in their conditions. What I do expect, however, from this group is a little bit more consistency than we have been given in the recent past. A combination of things could come into play. You know, that's something that we could sit down and debate. You know, I wouldn't want to debate here, but look, we just got to be better.
Just a little bit away from cricket, but it's been a heck of a year. Black Lives Matter, you were in isolation in England, and you've been the same here. You're sort of going to look back on 2020 with, you know, how are you going to sum it up perhaps? Man,
it's tough, man. It was a tough year. You know, credit to every individual who would have sacrificed, you know, the health and the risk and traveling around the world in this pandemic. It has been a tough year, not only for the team, but I know for me personally, it has been really tough. You know, as I said just now, talking to Simon Dool on radio, I haven't seen home in 6 months now. Been going non-stop. You know, we've had pay cuts. You know, so it's a situation where you're still looking to make a living and still looking to make use of every opportunity that you get. But having said that, going from bubble to bubble, being isolated into a room, you know, sometimes, as I said before, the room just gets smaller and smaller by the second. So I know a few guys have a few tired minds. You know, we've been on the road again for a little while, and it'd be good for the guys to get home for Christmas, to spend some time with their families. You know, hopefully some of them get there in time for Christmas, because I think we've got to do a quarantine. Some players have to do a quarantine going back home. But yeah, I think this will be a much needed rest for some players, just to refresh and come back.
Do you get a bit of a rest yourself?
Well, we'll see how it goes. You know, we've got a short turnaround. I head over to the Big Bash after this. And then we've got a tour in Bangladesh in January, early January, so not much time in between, but we'll see how it goes.
So when will you actually get back to your own house?
I don't know. At this point in time, I really don't know, but you know, I'm still enjoying it, still enjoying moving around. As I said before, trying to make use of every opportunity that I get, and you know, hopefully it works out for me.
Jason, what did you make of the home umpire situation? Because it seemed like they had this special mention and they made a lot of successful calls.
Yeah, the umpiring, I know Polly for sure had a few question marks over the umpiring in the T20 series, you know, but you know, look, I try to be as fair down the line. You know, what I would say about the umpiring or the situation of the umpires is that if we can travel and do a quarantine, I don't see why an opposing umpire can't travel and do the quarantine. You know, I still don't understand the situation where we're just having home umpires. You know, if players are making the sacrifice to go around the world and continue cricket, then I feel as though the umpires should do the same. You know, I think if even if it's a case where you get a home on an opposing umpire to do a test match, then I think that's fair. But yeah, the umpiring in the test series, I can't really say it's been horrible. You know, obviously in any test series you get decisions that you would always question. But yeah, I think the umpires, you know, put up their hands and they did a reasonable job.
Have you got a taste of what the reaction, general public reaction back home would be to the tour you just had and to the result? I know you're just coming off the results of the second test, but even the first test. I mean, what's the sort of mood among the cricket-loving public back home?
To be honest, I don't pay attention to it. You know, there's a lot of noise. You know, I've got enough to worry about playing cricket. You know, being on the field, so I haven't heard any of it. You know, I haven't been paying attention to it. I know the die-hard fans are very disappointed as we are, you know, and all we could do is continue to urge them to stick behind us. It is a hard thing to ask, obviously, sometimes when you're seeing the performances that we put out, but, you know, we adore them, we love them, and we still play for them, you know, and I know each and every individual crosses that line with them in mind, you know, so we just ask them to stay behind us, but apart from that, I don't get caught up with the noise.
How do you sum up the tour as a whole? We've obviously lost a few players with injuries and then people going home, but do you think you're leaving New Zealand a better thing than when you came over here?
Good question. Performances may not dictate that, but learning definitely has taken place. Yeah, it's been unfortunate. You know, I've had so many instances as a captain where, you know, you plan for one particular thing, but then something definitely just happens. And you know, we lost Kemar obviously with his dad passing away. Then Shane obviously going home, was unable to take part in the rest of the Test match in Hamilton. So. Look, there are a number of things that just pop up. You know, Shimron Hurtmel, who was originally part of the Test squad, had a concussion, couldn't play. Kemo Paul was struggling as well with injury. And it just cuts your resources down. You know, you leave home planning for one particular thing, and then, you know, obviously things change. But that's life. You know, we can't dwell on it. We've just got to keep moving forward.
I guess one knock-on effect from that, we saw Josh make his debut and do pretty obviously well in that second innings. Is he, you know, one of those silver linings coming out of this tour that you can see he's done that at the Test level? Yeah,
definitely. I'm really proud of the way he shaped up. What was most impressive for me is when I joined him, you know, you could see that he was up for the challenge, you know. Sorry, when he came on and joined me, you could see that he was up for it. I just said to Josh, look, just get your feet going, you know, get a rhythm and let's go, you know, just be positive, look to score. And back your movement, you know, and he was up for it. You know, every time I look into his eyes, I could see he was up for it, and that was something that really was pleasing to see. You know, we always say in our dressing room, you know, you can only survive at Test level if you got that heart. You know, you can have the world of ability, you've got to have the world of talent, but if you don't have that grit and that heart, you will never survive at this level. And I saw that definitely not only from Joshua but from Shamar as well too. You know, something that you guys wouldn't know is that. On that first day, he put out his hand and said, yes, Skip, I'll run into the win for you. You know, after bowling that first over, I actually got a text from Ian Bradshaw, who was a very good close friend of mine. And Brady said, seeing me run into the win the first morning, you know, brought back memories, you know, and we just had a really good laugh, a big laugh on it. But to see that Alzari and Shamar both put their hands up to come through that win was outstanding. And I think they've been really, really good on this tour.
Yes. Jason's very expressive, and obviously he's excited to answer your questions, but I just want to give the winning team their opportunity to be with the media shortly. So we'll just take 2 more questions, your question and then another one, and then we'll end it here.
The BLACKCAPS go to #1 in the Test rankings now. In your eyes, are they the best Test team in the world?
They play some really good cricket, to be honest. You know, when you look at teams playing home, lots of teams really defend their home territory. You know, when they travel, you know, is a lot more difficult. They have a very, very solid Test side. You know, they've got a really good bowling attack, and they've got some solid players at the top of their order, and definitely one of the best sides in the world. If they're the best, you know, I guess over a period of time we'll know. But it's hard to sit down and say one particular team right now is the best in international cricket based on the results being so close. Good. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, good, Barry? Awesome. Yeah, when you guys are ready.
Well, I think Steady used the word clinical in Hamilton. How would you sort of assess that performance? You know, it's another innings win wrapped up in 4 days.
Yeah, probably clinical's probably the word to use for it again, I think. The way we're able to set the game up here in Wellington with the bat on the back of Henry's innings was outstanding. Obviously being put into bat first and putting 420, I think it was, on the board, you know, was outstanding. And we talk about from a batting point of view as your first innings score, making sure that that's a big one. And yeah, in these conditions to put a score like that on the board was great. And then on the back of that, we're able to do the job with the ball. You know, to put a team back in twice in 2 Test matches was not going to be easy for the bowlers in terms of the demand on their body, but you know, they kept coming time and time again and did the job with the ball yesterday, and then today was outstanding. So yeah, I think clinical is probably a good word to use for it.
We just heard Jason again allude to the missed chances for the West Indies on day one, but does that again sort of highlight, you know, looking back reflectively, how important Henry's knock was, you know, the difference between maybe 220 and 420? Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, I think that, as I said, the way we were able to perform with the bat was outstanding. We talk about from a batting point of view as building partnerships, no matter how big or small they are. But I think the ability for us to build back-to-back partnerships in that first innings was important. Yeah, I think that when you get momentum with the balls, when you take wickets in clumps, and we managed to not do that, which was good. So yeah, obviously positive stuff for us with the bat.
Just a word on Kyle, named player of the series. I mean, what was sort of from a captain's perspective in the second test, his contribution to both games?
Yeah, contributions were outstanding. In his short test career that he's had so far, he's come in and had success straight away, which was great. He's a guy that's always willing to learn, always willing to pick the brains of the other guys in the group, which is outstanding. And for him to continuously learn, to come back this year with a few new skills is testament to himself, and he thoroughly deserves, you know, the player of the series. And from my point of view, it was great. And that goes for all the bowlers. They're always willing to bowl whatever end, into the wind, downwind. Yeah, so from my point of view, it made my job pretty easy.
BLACKCAPS are up to #1 in the Test rankings now for the first time ever. When you hear that, how does that sit with you?
Yeah, it's a pretty special thing, I think. From our point of view, it's something we've actually never talked about. I actually didn't realise that till this morning. So I think that sort of shows what the group's about. It's about putting the performances in each Test match, and those results are byproducts of the performances. And yeah, it does sound pretty cool. I think we're joint at the moment, but yeah, if we're able to keep putting in those performances each series at a time, you know, then those results come. And we have been playing some good cricket as of late in our conditions, and in a way, for that matter. And yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
And how important was this result? Obviously, to get a win, but to do it without Kane Williamson as well. You know, to win so comprehensively, how important was that for the side?
Yeah, it was great. We, you know, whoever comes into the side, we expect them to do their role, to try to perform best to their ability as possible. And you know, it was no different this game. It was about, you know, everyone standing up and trying to put a performance on the board, and it was great they were able to do it without Kane. I think, you know, the way Youngie played on that first day, you know, getting 40 odd in those conditions was outstanding. The way he was able to build a partnership with Henry was great. So, you know, it's great for our squad that we do have depth where guys can come in and perform straight away. So, you know, it's pretty cool for New Zealand cricket moving forward.
I was just going to ask about, do you consider Kyle James an all-rounder?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's. I think his record probably says that, and I think you know, if he's able to do it with the ball and bat, which is great for our side. He's obviously done it with the ball initially, and then to the performance he put on with the bat in the first test was great. And for us, you know, if we're able to have contributions down the order, as many as possible, then you know, that's obviously great for our scores with the bat. So you know, as I said, he's a guy that's willing to learn, willing to put in the yards at training, and I'm sure he'll keep continuing to work hard on that aspect of his game too.
And how conscious are you of taking cricket and the cricket public with you here, you know, to the top of the rankings, etc., and carrying that on and obviously the build it down?
Yeah, you know, we certainly enjoy the support we get. Yeah, they're always been in behind us, the New Zealanders, which is great. And you know, we might not show it necessarily as much as we probably. Yeah, we certainly really enjoy their support and getting them behind us, and we certainly thank them for that. And you know, this group's certainly willing to learn as much as possible, and we're willing to keep pushing as much as we can. And if those results take care of themselves, and those rewards with number one potentially on top of our side may come.
Another before. Sorry.
Australia come over in February, I guess, for 2020s. That's another crap in Test cricket.
Yeah, it's I guess the way with the schedule with the Test Championship at the moment, we faced them over home last year, but for us in our conditions, we certainly know how to play in these conditions, which is great. And whatever team we're faced with, we're certainly willing to learn on the back of the previous performance, and looking forward to Pakistan in a week or so's time, a new opposition, different challenges. So it's important that we're able to adapt to whatever team come here. So you know, we're certainly looking forward to when we play Pakistan in a week's time.
Last couple of guys.
At the moment, we'll enjoy this victory today, and then we'll shift to Pakistan. I think the beauty of this group is we focus each game at a time, each series at a time. I think when you look too far ahead, you can sometimes get caught out a little bit. So you know, our focus will certainly shift to Pakistan, and then whatever happens post that, then we'll assess. But yeah, the goal at the start of the Test Championship was to get to that final, and if we play well and we give ourselves a chance, then that may be a possibility.
Barry?
You've got in this Test series, you got up running pretty quickly and performing well. Why do you think that is after such a long break, and how does that set you up for whatever comes with Pakistan?
I think we're lucky. We started our first class season with 4 rounds of Plunket Shield. Which is great for the guys to get into that mode of Test cricket or the longer form game, and I think testament to the guys that came back from the IPL, the way they're able to adapt quickly to this format. And I think nowadays in international cricket, you need the ability to adapt as quick as possible, and whatever format they may be. So the way we're able to adapt to this format was great. The guys will shift quickly to T20s in a few days' time, and then we'll have to shift back to the red ball stuff. So yeah, the ability to shift back and forth as quick as possible is vitally important in international cricket nowadays.
Just a word on the Windies. Their performance is probably well up to where they would like to see it themselves, but we just heard Jason say he hasn't been home for 6 months. Big Bash is still coming. Just a word on maybe the sacrifices that they've had to do, and is that, you know, the reality that maybe you're preparing for, you know, when you're maybe called to go overseas? Yeah,
we certainly thank the West Indies for coming out. We understand how hard it has been. You know, what we're faced with at the moment with the world situation, for them to come out and spend time in quarantine, and obviously it's not hard. They're away from home, they're away from family, and we certainly appreciate the effort they've put in throughout the T20s and the Test stuff. But yeah, whatever we're faced with next year, that there is a possibility that we may have to do that, and that may become the norm for a while. So we'll have to wait and see what that presents for us.
All right, thanks very much, guys. Cheers, Tom.
Thank you.